All right. Good morning, guys. Today is 12th July, and as usual, we'll be going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So this morning we had CPI being released. So for those of you who don't know, CPI is ideally the inflation rate. So it's consumer price index. So if you open this up, it should change in price of goods and services purchased by consumers. So actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So ideally, if inflation is increasing, that's not a good thing for consumers, because if inflation is increasing, it means that the prices of commodities are increasing. So that's the basis behind CPI. There's also PPI. I think PPI should be later on in the week, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, PPI should be on Thursday. PPI is the opposite. Well, CPI is related to consumers. Um, PPI is related to the producers, the people who are manufacturing the goods. Give me one quick second. All right. Sorry guys, I'm back. So for US 30, finally the trade that I've been holding for a week finally hit TP. So you can see the importance of these trend lines on the hourly. So this trend line got hit, this trend line got hit, and now we are retesting this trend line. Also, if you do check right here on the hourly time frame, we have inverse head and shoulder pattern on the hourly time frame right there. So this was another reason why I held on to my buy, because I bought US 30 somewhere around here, 887. So this was another reason why I held on to my buy, because we had an inverse head and shoulders. So going forward, what do we see for US 30? So right here, we have this trend line. And how we trade trend lines, we wait for a break and a retest. So we already have a break and a retest of the trend line for US 30 on the hourly. So if you are trading the trend line alone, this is the trade that you would look for. Now, for this particular trade, we would need to see what else do we see from our other indicators. Give me one quick second. Let me check on something. My bad, I think I was muted. So I was mentioning right here, if you look at US 30, the last time US 30 was up here was June 30th, which was about 2 weeks ago. Now, if you consider that, as much as we have sellers here, what order block can the sellers use to push US 30 back down? So there really isn't an order block right here where US 30 is exactly. The next bearish order block is at 34,369. So right now I am so bullish on US 30 because this buyers right here who had this hourly bullish order block, they're using that to push price up. Sellers, as much as we have sellers here, they really do not have any other instrument or order block they can use to push price down. So the markups indicator and the zones indicator is ideally telling us that more than likely US 30 will keep pumping up. When we look at the breakout scanner, for the breakout scanner, I'm pretty sure it gave an entry a while back for a buy. Yeah, so the breakout scanner does not even have an entry for us to take. It already gave a breakout buy yesterday. So there's really nothing the breakout scanner can help us with. Same as the crosses indicator. So the crosses indicator gave a buy before CPI was released. So the Crosses indicator does not really show us anything. So knowing that right now price will more than likely go up, you can either take a buy based off of this. But for me, right, the US 30 has pumped up so high above. So in any case, for me, I'm waiting for a reversal on US 30. So this is why I have this drawn up, and I'm waiting for a reversal based off of the reversal indicator. So the reversal indicator, I have a area of interest, which is right here around 33,650. I have my 500 pip threshold, which has already been met. So this sell was invalid because it came within this threshold. And then since I'm on the hourly time frame and I'm only interested in sales, so I have sales only checked. I have 0 because this is the hourly time frame. Breakout pips is 59 and close. You can play between fast MA and close, but if you're in doubt, just leave this as close. But on higher time frames, you might want to change this to fast MA to avoid fake outs. Now, for me, if I get that sell entry on US 30 on the hourly time frame, that's when I'll be selling US 30. So right now, I'm neither buying nor selling US 30. But this, if you guys have any other confluences that show you that US 30 is buying, I have a confluence for you right here that shows US 30 is buying. However, this would just be trading the trend line strategy by itself. So no breakout scanner, no crosses indicator, no nothing. So for me, this particular trade, probably a 60 to 70% probability of hitting. And for me, I only take trades that are at the very least 80% chance of hitting. But yesterday we did win a trade for US 30. If you look in here, this trade did hit full TP based off of the 1 hour entry on the crosses indicator. And then, that brings us to like 1% gain for the month of July, since this is our first trade for this month. Gold, this is the markup I drew. So same thing with gold, right? We do the same analysis. What do we have for gold? And yesterday, for those of you who are on the live session, remember I did do an analysis for gold, and I did say the first sell area for gold was 1940, where I said you could have entered using a filler lot, just so that, so I'll go ahead and do like a quick one. So I did say filler lot right here around 1940. You're not looking to make money with a filler lot, you just want to see the price action. So the filler lot actually came to 1940 and went about 70 pips in profit. And then today during CPI, and I said the second entry you could have done on US 30, I'm sorry, on gold, was at 1950, because that was the middle of the daily bearish high and daily bearish low order block. So I did say the second trade, which is around 1950, that's the first trade you could have been looking to make money off of with gold. So you can see gold literally came exactly to 1950 area and then dropped 100 pips, about 100 or so pips. So you could have easily made money with that drop if you had the pending orders set that I sent out yesterday. And then I mentioned the last and best sell on gold that I'm looking for is 1960. So if I turn on the zones indicator, so today during CPI, right after CPI was released, I drew this arrow. So if you go to the Discord and go to the general channel, you see after this was during CPI, and I sent out this analysis right here because I was expecting gold to go to 1960. So and this, like, always looking at where price is likely to head will help you avoid FOMO. And you can see here price was bouncing off of a 4-hour bullish high and low. So for me, I expect gold to go to 1960, where I'll possibly be selling or entering sells on gold at 1960. So that's my best sell area on gold. So I think we'll get that during the live session. So the sell for gold for me will be 1960. Nowadays I do 100 pip TP and stop loss on gold. Not that you can't do a 50-50, but for me, that's just the position I'm comfortable with. So that's the sell area on gold. Now, if we turn on the zones indicator, since we are selling, we want to see a bunch of sellers here. So we do see a bunch of sellers here, and you can see we have this small concentration of sellers. We have an area where sellers are more concentrated right here. around 1961 and 1960, and that lines up with the daily bearish high. So as much as there are sellers here, there are sellers here, there are sellers in this lighter shaded areas, there are zones within here where there's more concentration of sellers. So this is why 1960, 1961 is the highest probability for a nice sell on gold. And if gold does sell heavy from here, we might break down, we might go back down under 1900, because if gold comes back down to 1900, it's literally going to break through and go under 1900. So that's the trade that I will take, and I'll take it with a 1% risk personally. EU, EU, same thing as sort of like for US 30, right? The only thing we have right here for EU is a trend line. So I was watching sales for EU before CPI. The reason I was watching for sales for EU is you can see we had this break and closure below this trend line on the hourly time frame. So this next, and this is why it's important to always wait for that break and retest. So we had a break, so I was waiting for this candle to retest the trend line and possibly close below for me to sell EU. However, this candle that was supposed to retest blew past that and went and retested again this other trend line to the upside, and now EU is bullish. So you can see, as much as we have some sellers within where we have buyers, the buyers are so strong. And right now the buyers have the upper hand because they have the hourly bullish order block. The sellers only have the 15-minute bearish order block, which cancels out with the 15-minute bullish order block, and then they just have the 30-minute bearish order block. So it's like process of elimination. The bulls for right now on EU win. So I didn't enter the sell. This is what I was waiting for on EU, but I did not enter that because the CPI candle went all the way up, so that invalidated the sell. So that's why it's always important to wait for the confirmation of a trade, and that will save you unnecessary losses. So right now we are waiting for this gold entry, 1960 or 1961 area. US 30, I'm waiting for the reversal entry for US 30, reversal based off of the 1 hour time frame. And once I do get that as well, I'll be entering with a 1% risk. So hopefully secure 1% with US 30 and 1% with gold. EU for now, I don't see any trade for EU. So EU, the only way you can trade EU is to wait for, so this is the candle that broke the trend line. So you can wait for the next candle to retest and close above for any buys. And for sells, same thing, you'd want a break and closure below, and then retest and closure below for sells. But right now for me, EU is indecisive, but you can see EU is fully bullish. So I don't even see anything that I would be looking for to enter EU. Any questions on that, on anything I've gone over? So for me, actually, since we'll be, if there are no questions, I'll be cutting off the live session soon. I'll set spending order on gold for myself right now.
Where's the sell area for US 30, you said?
US 30, you need to use the reversal indicator on the 1 hour time frame.
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Because as much as I normally start reversals on the 5 minute, since today is a heavy news day, they might form a reversal on the 5 minute, but I really don't see that. CPI does not really make a huge move like NFP. CPI, so normally with CPI, you expect price to come back. Traditionally with CPI, you normally expect price to come back pre-CPI levels. So I can see them coming back down, and if they come back down, all these instruments that are pumping up will fall heavily. So if this is the pattern, I don't see US 30 going up much further. Yeah, so that's why for me, I'm waiting for it on the 1 hour time frame. And I was actually watching it even before CPI, because if you look at US 30 on the 15-minute, this is what you don't want to see. When catching a reversal, you don't want to see multiple candle closures. So in this instance, I was looking for a sell. So you don't want to see multiple candle closures below the 9 EMA. And if it's a buy, if you're looking for a buy, you don't want to see multiple candle closures above. So when I looked at the 15-minute, I really didn't see a reason to wait for it there. When I looked on the 30-minute, there was this red flag right here. I didn't want to see this. This was too many 30-minute candle closures below the 9 EMA. But if you go on the 1 hour time frame, you'll see that here, to me, this is not a red flag because what is it? Actually, it is a red flag because at first I thought this was the only candle that closed above. I'm sorry, candle that closed below. And I didn't see this candle had closed below. But anyway, so yeah, so this as well is a red flag because you have this particular 2 red candles closing below the 9 EMA. But for you then to avoid this red flag, you would have to again go to the 4 hour time frames. So I've never really done reversals on the 4 hour time frame. And by the time we get this sell on the 4 hour time frame, US 30 will have come down so much. So you want to find that sweet spot, so in between. So if you compare like 1 hour to 30-minute to the 30-minute time frame, the 30-minute time frame has more red flags. So candles closing below the 9 EMA compared to the 1 hour time frame. So not every time will you get a perfect trend. So sometimes you just have to use logic and then do process of elimination and see between the 1 hour or 30-minute, which one is, which one has fewer red flags. And US 30 is coming back down now. So the area, again, I'm watching for US 30. So this would have been the entry for anybody who was looking to buy. But for me, again, I am not looking for that particular buy. But this is a valid entry based off of a break and retest of a trend line. But for me nowadays to enter any trade, I have to look at all of my indicators and they have to convince me to enter. So another nice sell area for US 30 that I'm looking at, you see this 4 hour bearish high, and I don't know who I was talking to yesterday. I did mention that they might spike through it because if you remember, this was one of the areas I had my TP for that 500 pip buy I held from the bottom. So as much as they've broken above this 4 hour bearish high and low, this might be a fake out. Now, if we do get, and I think we did have a daily order block right here, unless that was on, my bad, that was on gold, not US 30. So if US 30 breaks and closes, so watch out for 34, 374, 376 area, because if US 30 comes down here, and I'm pretty sure this will also align with my 1 hour reversal. So this is what I see happening on US 30. Coming to this 4 hour bearish high around 34, 375. And then if we get a break and closure below, no, I'm sorry, break and closure below and then retest and closure below, US 30 will melt heavily to the downside. So this is the pattern I'm looking for on US 30. So as much as you can catch a sell right here, none of my indicators right now can give you a sell entry. Maybe if you use the reversal indicator on the 5-minute, maybe it can give that to you. But if you're using the reversal indicator on the 5-minute, here you would be using it invalidly. You would just be trying to make up a sell entry because all of these sell entries on the 5-minute for US 30 are invalid entries. There's no continuous move or continuous trend with price staying above the 9 EMA for 500 pips. So as much as this can give you an entry, if you use the reversal indicator on the 5-minute on US 30 to enter the sell right now, just understand the risk. Know that that is an invalid entry based off of the reversal strategy, and just understand the risk behind that. So for me, I'm fine patiently waiting, and let me show you guys why. So if this comes down here, if I turn on the zones indicator, one thing I want to see here, I want to see sellers in this zone. I want to see sellers at 34, 370 something zone area. So let's go ahead and turn that on. You can see it's a small strip of sellers right here. You can see exactly. So to me, these are market makers, because another way market makers manipulate price, they can push price up knowing that price is supposed to go down, but guess what they're doing? They're leaving pending orders as they go up. So you can see in this small region right here, literally next to the 4-hour bearish high, we have a small concentration of sellers. So to me, this is not retail traders or retail sellers. These are smart money institutions, hedge funds that have a bunch of orders here, such that if we do get this move here, the 4-hour bearish order block will override the hourly bullish high and low, the 30-minute bullish high and low, and then it will get picked up by the hourly bearish order block. And then guess what? Below that, we have the 4-hour bearish low. So buyers will have nothing to hold price up. So let's see how far down US 30 can go. What's the next high time frame order block? 4-hour bullish high around 33,727, which also lines up with the Friday low. So it's just a game of patience. And around that's 34,378. Let's go to the reversal indicator. So since the 9 EMA is a lagging indicator, you can see by the time the 1 hour probably gives us a sell entry, it might be around 34, 410, 385. So you can see it's going to be around the sell area being shown here. So now that we know where we are supposed to sell US 30, let's look at what our other indicators are telling us. So the breakout scanner is telling us currently we're in a buy environment. So I really don't see too much of a sell coming in soon. When we go to the crosses indicator, same thing on the 15-minute time frame, price is so far up. The 9 EMA and the 200 EMA are so far apart. So I don't see any entry, any sell entry on the crosses indicator on the 15-minute anytime soon. On the 1 hour time frame, we already caught this buy yesterday with like a 1% gain. So even on the 1 hour time frame, we don't see any entry that's coming soon for the crosses indicator. Now, if we do catch this sell on US 30, or if this sell on US 30 loads, if this sell on US 30 loads, the other sell entries I'll be looking at for US 30 are based off of the crosses indicator A on the 15-minute time frame, because that's where I normally start trading it. So I'll be waiting for, so if we do get a death cross on US 30 on the 15-minute time frame, that will be a valid sell, because you can see the golden cross came in Monday 10th July, like 2 days ago. So it's already past the 24-hour threshold. So this will be, when we do get that death cross, it will be a highly probable sell. Also on the hourly time frame, the next time we do also get a sell, a death cross sell on US 30 on the hourly time frame, that will be a high probable entry. So for me on this trade yesterday, I actually entered with a 3% risk. And thank you to one of our members here who's backtesting the crosses indicators for us. So you can see here, he's done backtesting from January all the way to I think last month, June. June's results are somewhere in the general chat. We can copy and paste them there. But you can see the crosses indicator in January, right? If you took each and every, and this is on the 1 hour time frame, he's backtesting. So if you took each and every trade, each and every golden and death cross on the 1 hour time frame, in January you would have had like a 9% loss. In February you would have had a 3% loss. March you would have had a 9% gain. April, you would have had an, what is this, 5.3% gain. April, May and June, if I'm not wrong, May and June, and I don't know if you're in here, May and June, I think you had, in June you had a 9% gain, and I think May was 9% also. And keep in mind, this is if you are taking each and every golden and death cross on the 1 hour time frame. Now remember, the reason I normally say this indicator has a 90 to 98% win rate, you can see in the back testing, right? It ranges from 60% to 80. The reason I put the 90 to 98% win rate is because we have strategies where we use this on, right? So on the 1 hour time frame, or we have times where we take this on. So we want to avoid consolidating markets. So we want to avoid trading 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this backtest did not take that into account. But you can see, even if you are taking each and every, if you had automated these signals and taking each one of them, unfortunately for January, you could have been down, but January and February, but you can see March, you could have been up 9%, April up 5.3%. May, I'm pretty sure it was maybe 8%, and June was about 9%. So you can easily be passing, and this is using 3% risk. And one thing I also love about it, you see in this month of April, where in the beginning you would have been about $10,000 down, so about 10% down or 11, and then you had back to back to back to back wins. So this is the important part of using this indicator. Just make sure you're not using it in consolidating markets, and then you can literally have back to back to back wins. So you can see for this particular person who would have been down 10 or 11%, from 11%, you could have been up back to back up to 5%. So that's literally a 16% gain in a span of, that's about 25th April to what's that, 29th April or something, end of April. So in a span of about 5 or 6 days, and correct me if I'm wrong, you could have been up 16%. So the key thing with this crosses indicator, know when to use it and know when to not to use it. And then so long as you have that, you can easily be up, pass a challenge in 3 trades. The other thing I want to test also is using 15-minute, the death crosses and golden crosses on the 15-minute, and then death crosses and golden crosses on the 1 hour. So I'll be starting a challenge where I'll just be taking those golden and death crosses both on the 15-minute and the hour time frame with not 3% risk, maybe 2% risk, because the other thing you want to be cautious about is if you are in 2 trades with 3% risk and both of them hit stop loss, you end up blowing your account. So maybe 2% risk, because if both of those trades hit stop loss, you're just going to be down 4% and not blow your daily drawdown. But I'll start that soon and see how it goes. Any last questions? Because I don't see anything else for right now.
Yeah, bro, you know the sell you got
Mhm.
for the US 30, the sell, was that fake up?
What do you mean the sell I got right now or when?
On your reversal chart, like you see the sell there.
Yeah, so this sell on, because it's on the 5-minute, which I said, so this sell right here is invalid, right? Because if you're using the reversal strategy, right, always remember what's the reversal strategy. The reversal strategy is this. That's the reversal strategy, right? Identify a trend on the 5-minute time frame. So yes, there's a trend on the 5-minute time frame, but what's the threshold for a trend on the 5-minute time frame on US 30? US 30 has to trend for 500 pips. So this wasn't 500 pips. This was 34, 322 to 34, 600. So call that 200. No, I'm sorry, 300 or 280 pips. So this is a invalid, that's a fake out. So that's why I said do not enter using this, because right, and if you're going to enter, just know you're entering using an invalid signal. So which is the reason why for me the sell on US 30, guess what, I'm waiting for it here on the 1 hour time frame, because this will eliminate a bunch of fake outs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can see on the 1 hour time frame, we've already met our threshold, right? Our area of interest was 34,650. Yes, we have this red flag right here, but that's the purpose of these manual markups on the chart, in order to show you when a trade is invalid and when a trade is valid. So right now, if we do get a sell on US 30 on the 1 hour time frame, that trade will be a valid trade. And in any case, for me, I would rather US 30 to keep pumping up, because once we do get that sell, it's a sell I can hold for 500 pips or even 800 pips.
Yeah. So what's it called? The other day when you said US 30 and GJ, you said you should look for reversal on the daily. What was that for? The daily? You said to look at it on the
So
daily.
for GJ, the reason I say daily is because, let me try and remember why. The reason I say daily, had I gotten stopped out of GJ? Let me go to GJ. I don't think I had entered GJ. So let me go ahead and do that. So sell Okay, let me start with one here. So definitely it wasn't on the 5-minute time frame, because again, if you're looking for a reversal, you don't want to see this. This is what you don't, which is why I don't like looking for reversals on instruments that consolidate a lot. So while looking for a reversal, you don't want to see this price action, close above, close below 9 EMA, close above. That's what, right? To me, that's the kryptonite of reversal. So on GJ, the reason I had said to look out on the daily is because I came on the 1-hour time frame. All we had was that consolidation, right? So if you ever see these fake outs, or if you're ever in doubt, like literally, let me put it this way, a trend will always stick out to you. So for me here, I just see too many red flags, right? This is what you don't want to see. So I move away from the 1 hour, go back to go up one time frame. So the higher the time frame you go, the clearer a trend will be. So for here on the 4-hour time frame, yes, we had this trend right here. This sell on GJ on the 4-hour time frame was a valid sell. By that time, I think I was saying I was doing 200 pips TP and stop loss on GJ. So I think, I don't remember if for me I got stopped out, but this would have been, and this should be 0, not 1, because this is a higher time frame. So I don't remember if I got stopped out of this trade, which is probably why I went to the daily. So for me, I was doing 200 pips TP on GJ, or I do 200 pips TP and 200 pips stop loss. But you can see here, you could have gotten stopped out, right? And I normally say, if you get stopped out of one time frame, go to the next high time frame, which is why I mentioned the daily time frame. So for me, yeah, I think I got stopped out on the 4 hours, so I came on the daily. So this is what I mean, like this is what you want to see in a trend. Some nice price action where the 9 EMA is either supporting price or acting as a resistance for price, which is why for me here, I said I was waiting for the sell on the daily time frame, and then I did this with 200 pips again, 200 pips TP and 200 pips stop loss. And for me here, I actually went with 2% risk, because I got stopped out with 1% risk on the 4-hour time frame, and then I ended up making 2% with this trade. So yeah, so the key thing is, this is the price action I'm talking. This is what you want to see. So do you see the difference between the daily and the 1 hour?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's what you want to see. So if you're ever, which is why like nowadays, like for US 30, right, I'm mentioning, if you go to US 30 on the 1 hour time frame, as much as we don't get reversals on the starting from the 5-minute time frame every day, we can, the reversal indicator can help us catch buys and sells literally every day, leave alone news days. But if you come to like the 5-minute, right, and you
Yeah.
see that price action, right, you're seeing US 30 is crisscrossing in between. So it's like, okay, here there's really nothing the reversal indicator can help you. Go to the 15-minute, look for a nice trend, like don't force a trend. So look for something that makes sense that it's a trend. So here, to me, yes, this is a trend, but once you start seeing these red flags right here, so you see, so count the amount of times. If you're looking, in this case, you would have been looking for sales, and this is on the 15-minute. So you have price closing below one time, second time, third time right here. So, and especially if you see this continuous one, at that point, the trend is invalid, because by the time you want to see this price action, the threshold, the 500 pip, the 150 or the 50 should have already been met. So if you see like this price action and you are looking for sales and the threshold hasn't been met, at that point, that time frame is invalid. Move to the next higher time frame, and the next, as you keep moving to the next higher time frame, you'll get that nice reversal entry. So for me right now, waiting for it right here on the 1 hour. What else? So I definitely see US 30 dropping, and based on where it is, right, you also have to ask yourself, if it breaks this current high. So you can see we have a previous monthly high. So this was June's, what, we're in July, right? So we're in June's, we're playing around June's high. So definitely US 30 is in a nice area for a reversal. However, if US 30 breaks 34,600, we can easily go to 35,000 because there's nothing. So keep in mind right now, the buyers are in control. For us, for sellers to come in, we have to close below this area where we have these sellers. That's point, that's entry number one or confluence number one to wait for your nice entry right here. But so long as we are still above where sellers are, the buyers are still in control. And if the buyers close above this higher high, US 30 can easily go to 3,500 because you can see we have nothing above here. So the buyers can literally take US 30 wherever they want to take it. So right now, the only saving grace for US 30 is this supply zone within a supply zone. And lastly, the 4-hour bearish high, which is around where I'll be looking for that reversal, because by the time price gets down here, we should get a reversal entry right here. And gold, I keep forgetting. Let me set my pending sell order right now because before I forget.
Could gold reverse earlier than the expected 60?
I'm sorry?
Could gold reverse earlier than 1960?
Yes, yeah, it can definitely. So if we turn this on, right? So we always use our indicators to see. So we are currently in a supply zone within a supply zone right now. Also, if you look at this is 1933 plus 15, that's 48. Okay. There is a reversal also on gold. If we go to gold and we do this 1960 and we go to the 5-minute, there is a reversal right here on gold. Horizontal ray. So this is, I'll call it 1934 for ease of math. Area of interest. Also here, since this is gold, there's 50. Since this is 5-minute time frame, this should be 59, and then you have your threshold right here. So 150 pips. So this should be 49. 49 right here. I'll just assume that's where 49 is. So 150 pips. Then okay, so 150 pips. So right now there is a reversal on gold. The only red flag, right? So once you identify that, a trade, ask yourself what invalidates like this sell right here. So one, we have this huge candle. So remember, for reversals, we really don't like when one candle is accounting for like 30% of a move. So let's measure this candle. This candle is 1935 to, I'll call it, so it's like 100 pip candle. So one other thing we can do to be safer, let's increase our threshold by 100 pips. So 1949 to 1959. So around there. So, and that accounts for this huge move to the upside. Give me one quick second.
As much as that's a red flag, though, isn't it good because it created an imbalance? So price should go back down there?
Give me just one quick second. Let me send out something. I'm sorry, could you come again? Who was that? Was that Marcus? I guess they left. Okay. I think they talked something about an imbalance. So to be honest with you guys, I'm not like a pro, or I haven't studied imbalances too much. But I guess the basics of imbalance is right. There were more buyers than sellers in the market right here. So I'm guessing they're talking about an imbalance here. So yeah, when looking for red flags for me, I don't consider anything else. I just look at the what is it called, at the length of a candle. So whether there's an imbalance or not, I just know that this particular candle, and I can see the imbalance part they're talking about. I just know that this particular candle is taking up 50%, or I'm sorry, at least 30% of this particular trend right here. So just to be safe, right, for me, again, I like having an 80%, at least an 80% probability of winning a trade. So that's why I would just add, just for caution, the length of this candle, whether it's the body, whether it's the bottom to the top of that candle to this threshold, such that if gold gets there, then I have a high probability of winning. Now, not to say that you have to do that every time, right? Because if you're not even considering that, right now, gold has achieved the threshold for a reversal. And if we do get a reversal on gold on the 5-minute, a sell entry right here, yes, it would be a valid sell entry. But for me, the best sell area on gold will be 1960. And knowing that this is a daily bearish high, which rarely comes up, I do expect gold to at the very least touch 1960, possibly 1961. Doesn't have to, but that's what I would expect. Any questions on gold or US 30? So you can see US 30 is coming. What we need is price closing below where these sellers are. And once we do that, our sell will now be setting up nicely if we do get that. Any questions from anyone?
Bro, yeah. So is it the daily bearish low, do you say, for gold? Or
No, gold is daily bearish high.
daily bearish high?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was reversals from 1927 or to 1938, I think, 1938, and it dropped for like 90 pips. So for that reversal, let's say it didn't get completed. So now that gold has pumped up, would it drop below that to complete that reversal?
No, so remember, right, you don't have for me, I don't care about like how far. I just know that for me, my TP is 100 pips. Whether it drops far, whether it drops 100 or 200 pips, for me, I just look at where is it likely to head. But all I know is that if gold comes back to 1900, it's breaking through that. That's what I can tell you. So if that lines up with what you're talking about,
But for example, usually when you said the threshold after it's met, whenever you get a signal, let's just say it reverses for like 100 pips, but it doesn't finish that. It doesn't finish. It doesn't reach the next 150 pips. Of course, depending, like I said, on the golden cross, whatever, or news, and then let's just say like how CPI took it up. Now it has to come down and complete that.
It doesn't have to do anything. So you're always, for me, I look at how far, like where is gold likely to head, right? And then I see relative to my TP. So I know during CPI, by past experience, price comes back to pre-CPI levels. And if it does do this, we are probably going to come back down. But then my question is, what is my TP and stop loss? So if my TP is 50 pips and 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss, or 100 pips, which is what I do, I'm not interested in if gold comes down to 200 pips. You know what I mean? So you have to have an impetus, right? If for you, your risk per trade is 2%, do you have a 200 pip TP and stop loss? That's the only time I would say, yes, you should be looking at how far gold can drop. But for you, if gold cannot, if your TP is less than 100 pips, then it shouldn't matter whether it goes down 150 or whatnot. I mean, for me, the way I just show you guys, that's just my own way of trading. You know what I mean? Because there are people who have like 50 pips TP and stop loss. So for me, I can only analyze based off of how far my TP and stop loss is. And maybe I can give you a general overview and tell you that, hey, when gold gets to 1900, it's going to drop. Also, the other thing you want to look at, if you know me, you know I don't like trading in no man's land. I consider this no man's land right here where gold is, because gold is in between two hourly, what are they called? 2 hourly trend lines right here. So there's really nothing to support gold either on the upper side or on the downside in the very least, like in the short term. Sure, I mean, we can use the high low plus trend indicator to see currently if there are areas where we can draw any trend lines, right? So gold is trending to the upside on the hourly. So right here, if you were to draw a trend line on the hourly time frame, right, it's too messy for me to even try to draw any trend line where gold currently is, because I can see this, but it's just too much. Like this manipulation right here messed up a nice trend line, because the nice trend line on gold would have been this, from this high low, this right here. But for me, if you know me, you know I don't like drawing trend lines that cut through candles. So as much as this is sort of a valid trend line, and sure, maybe you can move it from this high low to this high low, and then you can draw this from this lower low. It's just, it just doesn't make sense to me what gold is doing right now. So which is why at the very least I would stay out unless I have a clear confirmation. My clear confirmation is the daily bearish high. So yeah, other than that, like I can only analyze based off of how far I am looking at. So what I would say is do your back testing, see based on the logic you're talking about, because I mean, for me, I don't trade that way. Not to say that it doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it's worked for you. So see how it's worked for you and then document that and then just follow that strategy. Same thing with the crosses strategy. We didn't have the hourly strategy before yesterday. It's just something I back tested and then I saw, hey, this thing has a high probability of winning, passing a challenge in just 3 trades. And then I back tested that and then I found the results were favorable to that. So just go ahead and back, because for me, anything that I'll ever talk about in the live session is just my own personal preference. And there's like so many trading strategies or ways to go about out there. So I'll just say, use the indicators I have. You can develop like a bunch of strategies, and if you find a strategy, you can be like, okay, can I show you this strategy that I found, and say, okay, this one time I found that gold came back down 200, 300 pips. And then in future, you can be like, okay, my setup is coming back again. Can we test it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because that day when gold was at, of course, like back in May when it was around 2040.
Mhm.
You remember that day? It was
Yeah.
Thursday. It was like a Thursday. It was at 2040, and then when it dropped for 400 pips, the threshold that you always talk about,
Yeah.
150 threshold. It did. I remember that I was thinking of that, and then I remembered what you said, and then I looked at it,
Mhm.
and then the reason why it fell, of course, there's a reversal death cross and that threshold. So it looks like on gold it works, but on US 30 I haven't tested it. So that's what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
I would say test that out and then just ping me. We can do a one-on-one where we can, if you want
Yeah,
like help looking at it or whatever, or
yeah,
if you want a second opinion, and then we can
yeah,
go over that.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, there's definitely, right, and you're right.
yeah,
Sometimes we can catch even like 1,000 pip drop. The question then becomes: are you able to hold 1,000 pips or to hold 500 pips? Because as much as gold or an instrument can move 1,000 pips, the question will
yeah,
always remain: are you able to hold a trade for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else with a question? All right, so gold, my sell area 1960. If a sell does fire on the 5-minute time frame using these settings right here on the 5-minute time frame, since this is a 5-minute time frame, delays 1, breakout pips 50, breakout EMA 9, source close, that will be a valid sell on gold. Just make sure, right? Always ask yourself, right, where can gold go? Make sure your stop loss is above the daily bearish high. So what if you choose to enter a sell on gold before 1960, make sure your stop loss is well above, I would say 5 pips above 1960, so around 1965. And US 30, of course, I mentioned to you guys the sell area is not 34,374. If there are no last questions, I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye guys.